Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham, I would imagine. Yeah, I guess it's recording. Let's see. Check. Alright, it's recording. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, whatever. It's not the greatest of intros. Yes, the enthusiasm is low. I have to go out and shovel snow. It's sort of a bit of a poem thing. Anyway, yeah, so, and everything's just so discouraging. My last neighbor's moving out this week. Well, technically he's already out. So, I'm the last one here. It's another month. Anyway, horrible. So, old fan made a video snarking at the naysayers in terms of, the feudal types. You just give up. Decide, I don't even know if they decide. They're just belligerently lazy and, I don't even know why they bother opining on subjects if they're so disinterested in doing anything but saying, see, I knew it sucked, but yeah, I'm not going to do anything about it. And I'm not saying somebody should do anything about it if their life is, just so brutal and they can't stand, they have to, just living. So if you have to, preserve your sanity or something. But see, again, these are people sort of wallowing in the subject, so you're sort of saying, well, if you're wallowing in the subject, you really don't need to be spared the inconvenience of doing a little work for the cause. You obviously have the endurance to think about it and to talk about it. So, I never really got that one. These people, misery loves company, or they want to talk about their problems. Never saw any use in that at all. I know it's a thing with people, but it's just like, I don't know why it's a thing. I guess it's because I just don't value anybody else's opinion, I guess. I just figure they're, going to just say stupid shit that'll be of no value. I guess that's what must be going on in my head, or I would be paying attention to other people and saying, oh, yes, well, what's your opinion? What do you think I should do? But I never do that. People sometimes want to talk to me, but I don't ever want to talk to anybody. Really just don't. It is, yeah. I'm a dismal person in that sense. Unless the talking is something like, ooh, you have beautiful skin, or some kind of crap like that. Then, I don't have much conversation. Just don't. Arguing, I'll do that, but that's totally not fun. You only do it because it's the mountain there to be climbed. It's like, oh, there's an idiot. I have to fix the idiot. All right, get out your arguing wrench and pliers and see if you can, tighten a couple of bolts and get this person working right. So, but I understand the futility thing. I understand the odds seem impossible. I probably understand it better than the giver-uppers and the lazy, just because, I can, I see it in so many levels that, it's like even, I always go back to this stupid analogy or example of the solar panels on roof thing, and it's just so illogical. We should never have gone down that road. The government should never have subsidized any such silly idea. They should have just subsidized farms. Panel farms. That's where you just take a couple of acres, put everybody's panels there. You can move them with the sun, point them at the sun. Totally efficient. That's what you subsidize. You don't subsidize putting them on roofs. Just idiotic. But you can't, the argument just isn't made. And that's sort of the point. It's not like that you can't persuade people that something's stupid or that there's a better answer. It's just that you don't have an opportunity to persuade them. Basically. I think the only thing you get in the YouTube environment is those who are belligerently against and those who are already sympathetic. So you really don't get you don't get an average person to expose to the reasoning, and so you're not as likely to get an impression that has anything to do with reality. Yeah, sort of something like that. It's not a good sample. It's the wrong test animal for the job. So, yeah, I'll pause. That'll be fun. Alright, I'm back. So I Googled cruel world, just to see how do you respond to a cruel world. And, this little thing says, having a soft heart in a cruel world is courage, not weakness. La 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 la. But the idea is that, it is what we make it, and the people who are making the world again are what? The dumbest people in the world are the ones having the most kids. The most distracted by just being something to be exploited, just being a gear, just being a mechanical. Well, we're all mechanical, but just such a low grade of program, right? I mean, they're the lowest grade of bubblegum machine. They don't do anything fancy. They're not pinball machines. They're not, fancy, whatever you call those things, where you put your card in and get money out or so. They're not ATMs. They don't have any real sophistication. They're just kind of dumb machines, and all they know how to do is the basic programming. Smile, blink their eyes, and fornicate. They just, can't seem to get with any more sophisticated idea of what it is to be alive on planet Earth and all that kind of stuff. So that's what you're really fighting. And the real fight, again, is with the people smart enough to know, hey, you don't let imbeciles drive buses. You don't let imbeciles drive trains. You don't let imbeciles fly planes. Gee, you don't let them do brain surgery. You don't let them do a lot of things. And so you have to put some limits on their behavior. And the intellectuals just can't get it. They're just, somehow my mother and father were really dumb. So I guess that's what, is that it? They were the spawn of, hookers and philanderers or something, and so they have some sympathy for being a retarded fuckhead. It really is that bad. So few children are produced by anything but stupidity. It's just a tiny percentage that they might have had some complex rational thought that went into the process besides something selfish or, something of the ego-based or, how many people had kids for any kind of complex philosophical reason? Oh yeah, I'm going to have a kid in this shitty world so he can go fix it. I'll give him the job. Before he's even born, he has a job. That's almost, what it would be, right? Because there can't be you can't have any silly positive expectations. You can, the decline is kind of obvious. We see that for every bit of new technology, our lives are, for every bit of dignity saving, there is a dignity lost. And just getting uglier and stupider, and so what are people who are breeding right now actually thinking is going to happen in the future? Everything's going to work out just fine. What kind of silly notions they have in their head, about how this is heading and where it's heading. There's the same stupid saying, but on a much prettier picture. Like somehow the cruel world is a lovely sunset. I guess it's just the lovely blood dripping out of the trees. You know, in the soft light, it looks so lovely. Now, these are not very cruel world kind of pictures, are they? You know, it doesn't seem very cruel to me. Google's just a propaganda engine. Yeah, it has no clue what's cruel. Oh, it has no clue what any of these words mean anymore. But this is the sign of our time. You've got cruel world written on a sneaker. I mean, yeah, this is a pathetic culture we live in. Pathetic. And yeah, so this is, you know, it's we got our work cut out for us. But there's just no point in giving up. Giving up is a guaranteed way to lose, and there's no other fight worth fighting. So if you can point to me some better cause, then I'd almost argue to the naysayers, well, why don't you go do that instead of naysay and nitpick and you know, just dump your futility on others. What possible value is dumping your futility if you're not telling people what the better job to do is? You know, the better cause. Because there really isn't a better one than prevention. So again, you can, you know, these are all stuff I've said before, but it's this old, you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure and a ton of Band-Aids. You know, the thing I would add on there. You know, there's just, there's just so much value to be gained by investing in this longer shot, and and it's a perfectly reasonable choice, but it is a complex choice. I mean, it's like when you go to Las Vegas and you have to choose where to lose your money. You know, oh, well, you know, I feel like, oh, yeah, well, that could be the way to go. Oh, you know, that has this odds and that has, you know, and it's all, you know, very similar in that case. But there are real differences. And, you know, the bottom line is that, yeah, there's a machine where you put $1 in and you could win $1 million. Well, you know, in desperate circumstances, that might be the way to go. I mean, if you need to win $1 million, then that might be the way you have to go, because the rest of the games you might only win $10, or the best you could do is maybe $10,000 ahead. But if you need $1 million, well, you kind of have to go to the slot machine, even though the odds aren't very good. It's the only way, it's the only road to a real victory, because all the rest of the victories are just not meaningful enough. So it's sort of, you know, I don't mean to diminish the value of preventing one animal from being slaughtered, more specifically raised in horror and then killed. You know, preventing one of those is great. But, you know, on the scale of what's going on and on the scale of the future, that one is kind of a very small piece of this problem. And like I said, the real victory is to prevent the billions, not to prevent the one. And it's just too. No, you have to invest in the complete victory. The horrible compromise, you know, of the meager. Why isn't my down arrow working? Should down arrow, shouldn't it? Oh, there it goes. Mousing is just too much. Oh, there's a girl. Cruel World video. Doesn't look like a very good movie, but it's a girl. Anyway, yes, I'm still distractible. Yeah, I still am. Critters. Oh, that doesn't look very cruel. It looks really stupid. See, these are just signs. Again, all these sneakers. There's freaking sneakers on the Cruel World page. I mean, isn't that right there? Isn't that the definition? Like, if you went to an alien country, world, and you went through all the trouble to go through a wormhole, and then you found out that they have sneakers on their Cruel World page. Wouldn't that just be enough for you to say, fuck it, these people are idiots? Too stupid. So, well, that's a really dumb picture there. There's a wolf getting its head blown out. And I don't know how that's... I mean, it doesn't exactly look like suicide. With paws, you can't really pull the trigger. So, yeah, that doesn't fit. Sneakers. There's sneakers all over this page. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting. So anyway, oh, there's a horrible picture there. Some poor dog died on a bed or something. But yeah, there's not too much Cruel World stuff on this page at all. It's just terrible. It's, Google sucks. I'm sure if we could take a time machine back to the old days of web search, and much better cruel stuff on here than this shit. This tripe. So, what else is there? So there's a turkey going to axe its own head off. Doesn't really explain why, though. So, never mind. Sneakers. Sneakers are all over the place. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh, God, I hate it here. This planet is so creepy. I just hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Alright, so anyway. Do I have anything else? For now? No, I probably have to go. Go shovel some snow and then come back and gripe about something else, I suppose. But the point is we really haven't had the fair fight, so, no, we haven't failed. It's just, this is an onerous task. People are really, really stupid. They're like, it's like almost having to be Dr. Doolittle. I mean, it's like almost having to bridge a species difference, and you have to like try to communicate. And I used to be good with animals, but yeah, humans, I just you have to figure out how to put them at ease and say, hey, everything's okay, no problems here. Let's just talk. It's okay. Don't be a reactionary. So, these are just horrible, cruel world images. I just can't believe how pitiful this is. This is the best the internet can do. My God. A big fat ass. That is a bit cruel. So anyway. I keep hoping there'd be something, so I just keep looking for it, but it just isn't here. Nope. This just doesn't nearly do it. Doesn't say it. Nothing. Alright, so, I'll be back. Talk about some more stuff. So till then, such. I have returned from the shoveling of the snow. 4 inches or so. A little bit flushed. Yes. Work sucks. Anyway, so, yeah, it didn't seem to hurt me too much. Sorry. Naked. Hot. But anyway, I won't do it too long. Don't worry. Don't panic. Does panic people. Nipples. The stuff people worry about. It is pretty funny. Planet Earth is too stupid. Just too stupid. I mean, that's all you can say. So anyway, I did think that maybe the trick is to take world off of cruel, because somehow that confuses the subject. So let's see what happens if there's no world, just cruel. See what they make out of that. The Google. Oh, well, it doesn't look much better. No, he's getting a spanking. Oh, the horror. Yeah, this is really funny. Yeah, no, not my idea at all. So there's a good one. Life. Squish. Good. That's a good one. I like that. Let's see if we can make that one bigger. Yep. And it's not just the me part. Like I said, I would argue that I've been very lucky. That's what scares the hell out of me, is living life as an unlucky. And, people just don't get it. I mean, I don't believe in reincarnation. It's just that I know that my carnation isn't any different than what's happening to everybody else. You just show up here, and you're either born to lucky or you're born to assholes. End up with some more negative psychosis, I suppose. I mean, mine's pretty, life destroying, but other people's psychosis is they got to, beat their wife, or, they're alcoholics, or they're, gambling addicts, or some other kind of horror. And, they just make a mess, have kids, then drop dead, and, create orphans and liabilities, and, not enough resources, crappy neighborhoods, end up raising kids, just no good. Red Dead Redemption. Well, I guess they're trying to make it look like a Clint Eastwood movie, but I don't think so. So, I mean, I don't know what these things have to do with cruel, but, I mean, it's a little painful, I have to admit. Beauty does hurt. Like a sword right in your something or other. It's probably one of the, unrequited love and such. It's a horrible, cruel thing that is part of crappy life. And, even that alone. I mean, it's just such a, for some, I guess it's just such a small thing, but no, it's a huge thing. The amount of pain people have felt when love goes wrong, just centuries or millennia of human anguish and longing, depression, sadness. Love is cruel. Yeah, there you go. It's just, they're just, the stupid things that pop into your head. I mean, I did watch the Harry Potter movies, just because they're part of culture and you have to watch them, sort of. But so bad, so cringeworthy almost, so bad. But the only redeeming thing it had in it was the Snape character, and the idea that he was this dark, sullen person just because of love, really. That's what did him in. That doesn't conquer all, because frankly, he didn't win, and he lost just kind of completely, But the only character that had any integrity is just kind of funny is the shitty one, But anyway, just saying. It's stupid now. Well, why would an all-powerful wizard not be able to just hit his face and make his face into something cool? Why would his face look stupid? It's just so retarded. You have all the power in the universe and, little magic wands and stuff, and you can't even just poof yourself a good mask? I mean, come on. It's just ludicrous. Ludicrously stupid. So anyway, this is not very cruel again. This is just, the internet is a fake. Google serves up is just absolute bullshit. Give me the random, give me random, not their algorithm of popularity. Because this is what popularity does to a word like cruel. It completely breaks it, turns it into mush. So anyway, I guess that'll be enough for this segment. Like I said, I should put some clothes on and blah blah blah. I don't know what this obsession with whatever her name is. It's kind of a got kind of a weird face, actually. I don't know if she's that attractive, really. But anyway, he's probably a fan out there. So, what do you mean? I don't mean anything. Just personal, subjective thing. Oh, that's cruel. Oh, that's horrible. The rabbit getting crap shoved into its others. So anyway, oh, Trump, that's cruel. Cruel, cruel, cruel world. Post moron. And a sneaker again, of course. Fuck. I hate this planet. I really do hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Just can't stand it. It's such a disgusting shithole of liars and cheaters and thieves. I mean, I really do want to, like, maybe on my own channel, play the Interstellar movie and just point out all the physics flaws in it. But besides those, it has a ton of just, plot flaws in the sense that the main characters are all kind of crappy, in terms of their character. And yet they want to impose life on the universe. They want to save the human race, right? And the two main characters, the professor is a liar, and then one of the main hero, brave people, turns out to be a psychotic, selfish cunt. So what do you want to save the human race for? They're all kind of jackasses, and then the chick is just obsessed with love, and she'll screw logic and function, for love. I mean, none of it. There's nothing to save, by definition. Everybody's an asshole. The brother is a jackass who will kill his own kids, to stay on his farm. I mean, everybody's an idiot or an asshole. So it's like, well, yeah, save the human race. Why? They're all idiots and assholes. So anyway. Alright. Oh, cruel, poor little sheeps. Yeah, this is just terrible. These images don't even come close. A lot of men with their shirts off. So maybe I'm being cruel. Yeah, cool. The new definition of cruel. And there she is again, whatever her name is, all over the damn place. There she is again. She is again. What the fuck? Oh, tiger. That's terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible. Alright, so anyway, I guess we'll move along. Cruel Intentions. I guess that's some sort of dopey movie. It goes all horribly wrong somehow, no doubt. Yeah, like this is just pathetic in terms of cruel images. There's a guy with no shirt, They're all over the place. I feel cruel money. Guy with no shirt, cruel money. Oh, come on, does this make any sense? I don't think it can make sense. No, I don't know. So again, the human race fails again. The Google test. If I went through a wormhole to another galaxy, and I, found a Wi-Fi connection and uploaded some, what are the aliens up to, and this is what I saw under the word cruel. Yeah, no point in visiting these idiots. So anyway, till the next time. Shortly for you, probably. More. Back again, I believe. Probably. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, alright, where was I? It doesn't really matter, I'll just start over. Talk about arguing, conversation. Because in a sense, I'm having a conversation with what I'm arguing is sort of myself, right? Talking to you is essentially just talking to myself in the sense of myself in another version of me, right? I mean, same machine. The model numbers are so close that we shouldn't have a problem being able to communicate. But communication always becomes some sort of personal issue. So, stuff like what you look like, your mannerisms, tone of your voice, inflections, idiosyncratic things. All that crap ends up being some sort of thing that we react to. We emotionally react, whether we like it or not. The conditioning reacts. And then what we say, of course, and how we say it. We don't use a word the way you use a word. Too much emphasis, misuse. We rape the word rape. We commit some kind of trespass against something sacred or holy. We violate some cow's udder of our personal stuff. Somebody mocks animal cruelty or something, and that's going to piss me off. Now, maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's just the way they talk about stuff. That's the way of dealing with it, is to laugh at it, blah, blah, blah. But the point is it's going to be off-putting. And then that just creates tension. And that tension just leads to the communication breaking down, in the sense that I can't trust you, or you can't trust me, and you're suspicious of motivations, and so it just deconstructs any possibility of civil conversation, or productive conversation, or productive influence, because the words or the mannerisms, or the behavior, or the history, or the reputation has spoiled the environment, and made it less capable for us to have what we really should be doing, which is trying to get to the truth of a matter. And that should be everybody's goal, is to respect the truth, respect the importance of getting the right answer, of doing things the right way, not the wrong way, the most efficient way. What's the best policy when you consider all of the variables and the things of value? So that's, again, where the conversation gets difficult, because we don't bother spending much time, most of the time in interactions, going through the interpreter, going through the dictionary to find out what the words really mean, what value really is, what we value and why we value it. So we don't have a common language, because the values, if I say the valuable thing will be ruined, well, what I'm saying is valuable and what you think is valuable aren't the same thing. So, yeah, we can agree that don't ruin the valuable thing, but we're not agreeing on what's valuable. So that's a problem. So, too expensive. You could use that word. Something's too expensive. Well, yeah, it's relative to whether you're a millionaire or somebody living on a pension. What the meaning of that word is, what the implications of it is. So that's the problem with the theoretical idea that, in essence, I'm just talking to a version of myself, and one would think I could have a conversation with a version of myself without it all breaking down and being impossible and everything going to hell. But it doesn't seem to work that way. It's a practical matter. So, and there's these, like I said, all these different ways it can be broken. The object of communication. Simple little things. Little Hitler man. Oh, I have a Hitler mustache. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't, just little things. I just did a trivial Hitler thing, which, I'm against trivializing the Holocaust. And I just did a trivialization, so somebody could be offended by that, because I just trivialized something that shouldn't be trivialized. So yeah, makes it just so difficult to master. as a as a function, this communicating thing. And yeah, some people have it. You know, they have charisma and they're charming, and they're also, people can be very articulate and intelligent and be very good at putting things into very distinct language and words, and you know, that can help in terms of attempting to communicate. They can also be sensitive and feel other people's pain, so to speak, know how to manipulate the psychology of other people by doing the little trivial things like saying, "Oh, you look marvelous," and "Gee, oh, that was such a great thing you did," and "You were so great in that," you know. And so you do that smoke blowing. Probably not the best analogy, right? It's more like sweetening. You know, it's like you're perfuming the air. You know, manipulating people emotionally to, you know, to get to an end by essentially cheating. You know, by being cute, you know, pleasant. When none of that should really have anything to do with this whole argument about the truth and what the right policy is, or the right perspective, what's an accurate description of the reality. So whatever the subject, global warming, or, you know, energy efficiency, or growth of human population, or the growth of civilization, or technology advancements, or, you know, whatever you're discussing, are the negative risk threat imposed against consent, and kind of an unethical, kind of an immoral act of imposing life, because it is not a controllable experiment. The consequences won't be paid by the person perpetrating the act. He's not putting himself at risk, he's putting somebody else at risk, which is a hell of a thing to be doing. And as I've pointed out, if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to go take your neighbor's money to Las Vegas, you know, and gamble with it, you better be sure you're going to win. And if you can't be sure you're going to win, it's just plain wrong, and it's illegal for a reason, because it's just plain wrong. And you know, those kind of arguments should be able to be made to people without this being all that complicated. That you know, there's no God that's going to praise you for supporting creating more parasites on Earth. And there's very little evidence that we're, even if you believed in a God, there's very little evidence that we are so much better than the humans he wiped out in the first flood. I'd say there's no evidence that we're any better than those humans. You know, and so he made a promise not to do it again. And so that's the reason why we're not getting flooded out of existence, is because he promised not to use that tactic again. No. So what's the point, though? If we're failing, we're failing, even by your own God's definition. But obviously there's no God, there's no bullshit, there's no fanciness to any of this stuff. We're just all parasitic organisms. We're all robotic machines functioning based on a bunch of collected programs. We're really not doing anything truly creative, and we're just cause and effect, we're just following the chain. And you can see that in the fact that nobody builds something original out of nothing. It, just like in physics or chemistry or biology, it's always built out of the foundation you're on. Somebody doesn't come up with something totally independently created. It's always going to be the ingredients for the mixture for baking the cake were already in existence, and all we can do is be a mixing bowl where the right ingredients come together, they mix, and the result. And that's it. There's just no there's nothing else happening here. And so we're sitting here marveling at this wonderful creation, and it's just robots, and they're doing something incredibly predictable, and we're just too stupid to know how predictable it is. It's kind of like if you knew what number the roulette wheel was going to land on, what the ball was going to land on. If you knew in advance every time, wouldn't it be pretty uninteresting to watch? If it'd be just, oh yeah, well, I totally saw that coming. I mean, we kind of thrive in terms of our being encouraged or being excited by something that's mysterious, that's unknown, rather than something that's just plainly predictable and it just couldn't be more boring if you already know everything that's going to happen. And so we're just living on ignorance. Ignorance is the main driver of any excitement for the game, is ignorance of the game. Once you've seen the maze, once you've climbed up the wall, looked at the maze, seen how it plays out, how redundant this whole cycle of life and death is, how redundant even winning the gold medal is, the same psychological little games played over and over and over again, merely because you're ignorant, merely because you still think there's something interesting to know or to find out. And I'd say that who's going to win the football game isn't really an interesting event. And with enough knowledge and intelligence, it's totally predictable, as stated. So it's just not, just doesn't merit the excitement it creates in human beings and the motivation in human beings to keep playing, to keep pursuing, keep chasing. And they're only doing it because they really don't know how much it just, to an intelligence, how much it just looks like a dog chasing its tail. And that's futile. So people who talk about futility is watching that go on without trying to put the thing out of its misery. That's a pitiful condition to exist in. And that's all humans are doing, is just chasing their own silly notions of function and purpose. Because there is no evidence of function and purpose. There is no stuff to validate it except people's personal feelings of accomplishment and need to be something, need to validate, need to I'm trying to think of the end result of ambition, but yes, that's all it is. Blind, ignorant ambition is the only thing that keeps people moving. That's it. Yeah. So maybe I'll pause on that, and then we'll move on to sometime a little bit later, the finish, I suppose. Sum up. Or something like that. Alright, back for one final bit, I suppose. I figured the word waste might be interesting, but yes, it's just garbage dumps from around the world. Charming. Like I say, there's the less obvious form of waste is in the inefficiency with which we do everything we do, just about. And the fact that so few people seem concerned with that idea of just any form of waste, any form of squandered potential. It's all so cheap. and disposable, even human beings. And yeah, it's all garbage dumps, garbage. Yeah, it really shouldn't be. Yeah. So again, this is like Google engineering. This has decided what waste means. So yeah, there's not much to say. It's obviously we have people raised in shit on garbage dumps. Clearly, very little potential is going to be achieved from such a location. Very few college educations. It's just a mind is a terrible thing to waste kind of argument. Those kind of lines just aren't very common. And, it's the world we live in. So now we're getting to hazardous waste. That's fun. Yeah. So, but again, there's no connection to the word efficiency here at all. So the derivatives of the word are kind of lost on the algorithm. And the bigger waste is in these subtle things. If you think about all the time wasted by, say, we have this apparent tolerance because there's companies making money doing it, but all the spam phone calls and everything. So, Congress could obviously pass real laws, give people real prison sentences for violating people's privacy rights and ownership rights of their phone. But they don't pass the laws because, there's people making money stealing from old people. So they have to, ignorant people. So they have to keep the exploitedness in business for whatever reason. But when you think of just all the waste in it, just to steal some money from a few people with Alzheimer's, they'll waste real hours of human existence. I mean, just the amount of time, the distractions alone, right? Somebody's working on something, they're thinking about it, and then they have to distract themselves from what they're doing, answer the phone, waste 30 seconds, get back to what they're doing. Those are real minutes of life just wasted, just thrown in the garbage. They're garbage pieces of our lives. They have no positive value. They're like having to waste your time, putting a Band-Aid on or something. There's no, no profit in it. You're just trying to prevent a loss in a sense. And so, but no one thinks about it. But I mean, it's, it's maybe 100,000 human lives a year, essentially worth of life murdered, just destroyed. It's just stupid waste. So any part of our life that is taken from us in those stupid little ways, those nuisance ways, it should, if we had any kind of common values, you'd recognize that, that's the real Holocaust. The trivial stuff people worry about, where, 10 people die of some sort of, drug addiction, some kind of weird thing, that gets all the press, and the thing that's really destroying the quality of life is just ignored. And, that's the world we live in. There's no real intelligence in the top doing anything to keep in its place the ignorance coming up from the bottom. So all the stupid and simplistic, the obvious things get attention, and they get attention in kind of silly ways where out of sight, out of mind. So if we can just make this go away by piling dirt on it, somehow it doesn't exist. That kind of thing. Simple solutions that aren't really solutions, they're just sweeping something under the rug. The whole unsustainability of the current human project can't work. It can't keep working. It has to. the curve is saying there's a point where there'll be a terminating velocity, the end of that game. And if you go a certain depth into the trap, you'll never come back out, kind of thing. So once you go in a certain depth, once you go a certain depth into global warming, you're not getting back out. Those kind of things. Those are just facts, and very little attention paid. So, humans are, in a sense, I call it belligerently ignorant. But yeah, they're ignorant and they want it that way. They want to stay that way. And that's difficult to interact with. But it must be done. Like I said, there's no other game to play but the persuasion game. And it's just, I have to find tools to manufacture some kind of something that fits with my own assets and liabilities. I have to sing a song that sounds good with this voice, kind of thing. So anyway, that kind of crap. So, it's probably enough of a video. So, till the next time when I attempt to charm and manipulate you, some sort of manner, through whatever means I happen to fall upon at the moment. I really do have to spend more time being sinister in my, just maniacal in the project, and just have too many other distractions at the moment. So anyway, that's my excuse anyway. So, till next time and such. I really think that's enough.